Good morning, 8th graders. I have decided to make a little video to show you the next step in our inequalities work. I hope everybody's doing really well. I really miss not seeing you guys. I hope you're all getting some quality family time in and hopefully maybe even FaceTiming with friends. Please feel free to do the work for today or any day with friends over the internet or however you guys connect. Again, we're going to look today at systems of inequalities. We're basically going to take your work from Monday and Tuesday one step further, and we're going to graph systems, but we're going to have the shading that goes along with it. So right now, go ahead and pause the video. You're going to want to get your notebook out. You want to have at least 2 colors to work with. Might as well make that notebook pretty. And then you can use those colors on the worksheet that I have posted in the classwork section for today. If you can't print out the worksheet, that's totally fine. Just do everything in your notebook and just keep everything organized in your notebook. And when you get back, we'll go ahead and review things and make sure everyone's good to go. All right, so hopefully you have all your stuff out. We went ahead as systems of equalities. We're taking notes for today. It is Thursday, March 19th. So basically, to show a solution to a system of inequalities, you have to graph both of the inequalities with the line and the shading. So we'll go ahead and get that into our notes. So to show a solution to a system of inequalities, you must graph both of the inequalities So to show a solution to a system of inequalities, you must graph both of the inequalities, and that graph should include the line. So remember, our line is either a solid line or a dashed line, and it also has to include the shading that goes with it. So basically what happens is the area where the shading of both of the inequalities comes together, that ends up being your solution. So if you remember in our systems of equations, the point that the lines intersect at becomes the solution. But in inequalities, the shading where the 2 lines come together, that ends up being the solution. So it's not just one point. It is a range of different points that is indicated by the shading. The shading is the solution. So we're going to write that down as well. So the area where the shading of both inequalities come together is the solution. Afraid this might be jiggling a little bit. I'm going to try to move my stand just a tiny bit so it's not hitting the table. Hopefully you guys can see that. All right, so we're going to take 2 inequalities, and I'm going to give you inequalities that are kind of the most work that you'll have to do. So sometimes you get inequalities and they're really pretty. They're in y, basically in y equals mx plus b form, only it's an inequality and not an equation. But today, for the one example that I'm going to show, I'm going to go ahead and make inequalities in standard form to kind of show that you need to put it into y equals mx plus b to get that line. So we're going to start with 2 inequalities. We'll do 2x plus y is less than or equal to 10. And then we'll do x minus y is greater than 5. So with both of these, your first job is to kind of I like to think of them, just what do they look like if they were equations? The inequality is really there to tell us, number one, do we have a dashed line or a solid line? So if it's not equal to, then it's going to be a dashed line because it does not include any of the points on that line. But if we have an equal to, it's going to be a solid line. Just to make sure I said that right, if it is not equal to, it's dashed. If it is equal to, it's solid. So that's one thing that the inequality does for us. It tells us if it's dashed or if it's solid. The other thing the inequality does is we will put a point tester into it. The best point to use, the easiest point is always 0, 0. In this particular one, we will be able to use 0, 0. If you can't use 0, 0, pick the next easiest point. So like 1, 1 or 2, 2. It just can't be a point that's on either of the lines. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to ignore the inequality. To find M and B. So if we ignore the inequality here, we can think of it like 2x plus y is equal to 10. And once we go ahead and solve for y, we end up with y equals negative 2x plus 10. So that is one line that I'm going to make. And I know that it's going to be a solid line because it's equal to. The other one that we're going to make is x minus y equals 5. And when I solve this, I end up with negative y is equal to negative x plus 5. But then I have to go ahead and divide by negative 1. So I get y is equal to x minus 5. So these are the two lines that we're going to deal with today. I'm actually going to pull out my highlighters. I think I only have one. So I will highlight this one as yellow. And then for this one, I'm going to just outline it in blue. So some of my shading will be yellow for this line and shading here will be blue for this line. All right, so I want to go ahead and I want to set up a 4-coordinate plane. So I use my grid lines, do the best that I can. And I want to make Jiffy graphs for this. So for my yellow line, I have point at positive 10. Let's see if I have enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, I've got just enough. I'm going to put a little point there. And now my slope is negative 2 over 1. So in this case, I'm going to go down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1. And I have not pulled out a ruler for myself. Bear with me. What do I have here? Yeah, I've got a binder. So maybe I'll see if I can use this real quick. I've got a binder. Bear with my binder for a second. So you have a straight edge in front of you. If you need to pause the video to go get a straight edge, go ahead and do so. Okay. So I make the line for this. It is a solid line, not a dotted line, because it is, again, less than or equal to, so it includes the line. The other one that I'm going to make is y equals x minus 5. I'm going to go ahead and highlight this line right here just so we know what line is which. And then I'm going to use my blue pen for this one. So y equals x minus 5. That means I'm starting at negative 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now I'm going up 1 over 1. 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. Again, I don't have a ruler with me, but any straight edge will do. So I've got, whoops, actually, this one needs to be dotted. So this is a dotted line. Disregard my solid line there. Actually going to get some white out real quick to make sure it looks dashed all the way through. Okay, so that is the first step. Now we got to figure out what side I'm shading. So we'll start with our first one here. I'm going to go, let's see, I'm going to check to shade. So I've got a test point here. You'll notice that 0, 0 is not on either line. So I'm going to make 0, 0 my test point. And I'm going to use the inequality. So when I have the inequality 2x plus y is less than or equal to 10, I'm going to plug 0, 0 into this equation. So I've got 2 times 0 plus 0 is less than or equal to 10, and this gives me 0 is less than or equal to 10. This is true. So 0 is less than or equal to 10. So since it's true, that means that we shade that, shade the side that includes 0, 0. So this is the side of this line all over here that includes 0, 0. So we are going to shade this whole side over here that includes 0, 0. Okay, so this is the solution. This is all of the points that will work for this inequality. Now we're going to check the other one. I'll go ahead and highlight this part too. So this had to do with that. And now I'm going to write in blue. So we're going to check the other equation. X minus y is greater than 5. We're going to use the same test point, 0, 0. We're going to plug 0 minus 0 is greater than 5. 0 is greater than 5. This is a false statement. So since it is false, we're going to shade the side that does not, shade the side that does not include 0, 0. So if I'm looking at this line now, the blue line, you'll notice that 0, 0 is on this side, is over here. We do not want to shade that side because 0, 0 did not satisfy the inequality. So we're going to actually shade the other side of the line. So all of this gets shaded over here. That means that every point that's on this side of the line will satisfy the inequality x minus y is greater than 5. The dashed line tells us that no point on that line actually satisfies the inequality, just the points to the right of that line. So your solution here is this. So where the two shadings come together, this ends up being your solution area. It's everything that goes from here, except this is dotted, to here. So this whole kind of area right here, this is your solution. And then you're done. That's all there is to it. If you have any questions about this, I am pretty much on my computer during regular school hours. You just need to go ahead and shoot me a comment in the comment section of the classwork or the assignment itself. You can also, you can send me a private comment, or you can write a comment in the little thread that everyone can see. You guys can help each other out. And then I think I'm also going to post a Khan Academy video in case you want to see it done a different way or just have a different voice. Again, I hope you guys are all doing well. I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye, bye-bye.